My name is Tom Fulp. I'm the creator and guy that runs Newgrounds.com. And talk about Newgrounds?
Sure, go for it.
Newgrounds is a massive online community of people making games and cartoons and music and art, and then other people just coming and enjoying all that content.
Okay, so tell me about the inception of Newgrounds. How did this all start?
I guess it first started with the web came along, and I guess if I go all the way back, a lot of my motivation for the site comes from making videos for class at school. And I'd make videos for class, and the one time I made a video and the teacher showed it to the class and they really liked it. So the next time she brought in the three classes, like the three groups from our grade, and showed the video and they liked it, but the teacher decided it was a little bit offensive. So the next time I made a video, the teacher decided to take it home and screen it first, and then decided not to show it to the class. And it was like really upsetting because you spend hours and weeks making these things, because I was like a really shy, quiet kid, and this was my one way of like communicating, like trying to show that I'm like an interesting person or whatever, and have that like withheld, was really painful. So when the internet came along, it was just so exciting that it was a platform to create and show it to people and get feedback from people. So I just made stuff and put it up online, and I started in 1995, and I was just goofing off through the end of high school and early college. And 1998 is when I got into Flash and started making the Flash stuff. And then other people were making Flash, but they didn't I was already like a top 500, 600 ranked website, and other people were making Flash, and they wanted to get some spotlight. So I had a part of the site for just unfinished projects and stuff. I just started putting other people's stuff there when they would send me their files, and they'd be like, hey, put this up, and it was called the portal. So I would just manually update the portal whenever someone would email me with their stuff. And eventually it was just every day I was just dealing with emails and building pages and maintaining, and people would send me their file updates, and I'd be maintaining those, and it was just this can't continue like this. So that's when I worked with my friend Ross, who was like a PHP programmer, and we made the automated version of the portal, which launched in 2000. And that was the first real-time content submission system on the web. And so we had games and movies getting submitted to the site. Then there was there's concerns, okay, a lot of people, there's people that want to make music for stuff, they're emailing me about music, but they're not linking up with other people, and meanwhile these guys are using, commercial audio that they shouldn't be using. So we followed that up with the audio portal in 2003, and got that involved, and just sort of kept going from there. We still want to add a writing portal, which we just haven't gotten to, even though it's been a decade of building these things. But we have the art portal, so and you can see the effects of it. We have the art portal where people showcase their art, but more and more of those guys, their art is starting to creep into people's games and movies. They're doing the backgrounds for movies. Joust is a user who was only known in the art portal initially, but he's here doing the art for a game in the indie section. Yeah, so it's you see how they're all spreading everywhere, and even here, it's every little game company I go to, there's usually someone from Newgrounds that's there. There's programmers and artists and audio guys. If you go over to right here in the Xbox booth, the game Dust, D-Mac from Newgrounds he's doing voice work and also doing all the casting for voices, and it's all Newgrounds people doing voices. It's just sort of spreading everywhere, and it's a real quiet thing where it's people don't quite realize it, and then you suddenly realize just how far it's all spread around.
What, how would you summarize the Newgrounds community?
Community is, say, very creative community, a community that likes new things. There's definitely a lot of people that just come for popular things too, like a parody of a popular game, but still people that want, they want something new and exciting, and they like new things, and they either want to see new things or they want to create new things. And so it's just I'd say there's just a lot of creative energy and a lot of, just a lot of crazy creation going on there.
So, all right, now let's get into the meat. All right, so what do you think the biggest difference is, either literally or almost philosophically, between, say, Newgrounds and, I guess let's not be specific, other Flash game places?
Okay. I'd say, well, a lot of it does have its roots in Newgrounds. A lot of those sites will say, it's or in the early days, it's they would come to Newgrounds and sponsor games on Newgrounds. They would, they'd find the developers on Newgrounds to sponsor. So a lot of it does have its roots in Newgrounds. So I still always feel like we're sort of like the birthing place of it, and other sites are trying to get into that. But yeah, I feel like we're still like sort of the heart and soul of the gaming, of the web game scene. Even though there are there's sites that are really popular just for games now, but yeah, I still feel like we're still like the heart and soul. I like to think. Yeah.
So what is the motivation behind, like, if you look at similar sites, they're a little bit devoid of personality. They're intentionally minimalist for whatever reason. Newgrounds is almost the opposite. What informs that kind of flavor?
Yeah, I guess as far as style-wise, I guess part of that's just like our own style that we just keep with the site, and we don't want it to feel too bland. But we also just want to have, we want to have more of that community interaction. Like we're really trying to push getting to know the people that are making the content, and more like when you realize like there are a lot of users that don't care about that, and you can save a lot of space. You can clean up the site a lot if you just stop caring about that. You could strip out the artist who's on the front page, and there's a lot of people that wouldn't care. You could strip out the artist credits, and there's a lot of people that wouldn't care. But we care, and we want the people to care. So we want to keep the emphasis on all that stuff. We want you to, when you play a game, we really want you to take an interest in the people making it. And it's really like, it's cool to see, how these people came about. You can watch how they progressed. You can see the audio guy that has audio that goes back 5 years, but in the past 2 years, he's credited on games. And you get to know how it all happened, and everyone has like their personal story there.
All right. So, from the outside looking in, it seems like Newgrounds' biggest competitor, especially now, is YouTube. How the hell do you compete with YouTube?
It's a good question, and it is something that we want to do. We want to be, we want to keep them on their toes, even though we know they're way huger than us. But it's hopeful if we do things right, they'll always sort of see us there in the distance, and maybe they'll be a little concerned. But at the same time, I have to tell artists, like a lot of artists nowadays, they're trying to make money off their work. It's like I have to tell them, it's like YouTube's a good venue. It's like it's really like if you got to utilize all the venues out there. There's lots of sites where you can showcase your stuff. So as much as I would love Newgrounds to be this like fancy little island where everything's unique, it's like you have to accept the fact that there's a lot of ways to distribute your work now. But as far as what we can do better, we're working on that, and we have stuff coming. We actually, we have things happening even just this coming week that will kind of show people that we're more future-proof than they might have thought. But so we'll see how that goes.
Have you ever considered opening up Newgrounds to like Unity developers or stuff like that?
It's actually, I'll just tell you, since so basically, with this redesign that we launched in February, we removed the word Flash, so it's no longer the Flash portal. We just called it Games and Movies, and that was something that we knew we had to do for a really long time, but we weren't rushing to do it because it's kind of upsetting to take, the Flash portal is something that has been around for a decade, and it's like sad to have that go away. But we knew we had to do it because as much as we like Flash, it's not what everyone's using. We know that Adam Phillips is using Toon Boom to make movies, and then the same with games, as we know there's developers doing HTML5 games and Unity games. And so basically what we've done with our system, we launched the project system, and what we're introducing is, and it's going to be introduced kind of slowly and gradually, some of it invite-based, but you can have multiple files for your project. So one example for a movie is you could have your SWF file, but you could also have your MP4 file. And users on the web could see your SWF, which still a lot of cases looks really nice, loads quick. But then if they want to view it on their TV or mobile device, they can get the video version of it. Same goes with games, where we have some people who have made Android optimized versions of their games, but they still have like a full feature version. So they might play the full feature version on the web, but then on their Android device, it would give them the Android version. Same goes if they create an HTML5 version. We actually have, there are some people now that have like an SWF version and an HTML5 version. So it's like they could have, the SWF that, right now SWF is still better than HTML5 right now, like with what's out there. But I've seen what's coming with HTML5 games, and there are console quality HTML5 games ready that we'll be launching, But yeah, we just want to have all that available for people.
That sounds fantastic. So you've got, okay, so now you're adding all this new stuff. You've got the movies, you've got games, you've got audio, you've got art, you're talking about writing. Is there anything that Newgrounds will never have?
Probably like video blogs. Like one thing with our video feature, and a big reason why it's going to be invite only is we want to really, even though it goes against the everything by everyone slogan, it's like, part of that slogan always had a double meaning too, that like everything is made by everyone on the site, sort of is always like a dual purpose. But yeah, we don't want to end up just being a total video dump, and we don't want people, you know, something that happens on YouTube is people realize that once they have fans, they can just, you know, do video blogs and get the same amount of views. And so we want to keep the focus on animation. It's like you gotta make something to get, you know, to put up. And that will include, like, we want to do like film that has post-production. So if you film something with your friends but then have like 3D robots and stuff in it, you know, we want to do stuff like that too. But yeah, we want to avoid going down the path of just like, you know, generic web video. We want to get the focus more and more on just trying to encourage people to make cooler stuff.
Well, I mean, the worst thing about YouTube is also one of the best things about Newgrounds, which is that voting actually kind of means something. That if something sucks, maybe it'll go away forever. All right, so let's talk about the Behemoth. How did the Behemoth fit into all this?
All right, so it all started with, you know, Dan Paladin and I met on Newgrounds, and we were making web games. So we made Alien Hominid as a web game on Newgrounds. In 2003, Dan was working at a video game company with his friend John, and it went out of business, so they both got laid off. And John said, you know, John was like a fan of Alien Hominid and said, we should make a new company and make a console version of Alien Hominid. And so they approached me, and, you know, we said, okay, you know, we gave it a shot and made Alien Hominid, and then that's just progressed, you know, to where we are now.
All right. Is it hard to run these two very different companies at the same time?
It is tough because even though there's always the balance, but it's also like I never feel satisfied. Like I always feel like I'm neglecting something. So like after Castle Crashers wrapped up, I was like I want to be focused on Newgrounds and getting the redesign done. So I'm more of, you know, I'm consoled on BattleBlock, but I'm not like the programmer on BattleBlock. But now it's like I'm getting the itch where it's like I want to make another console game, even though I know like it's draining. You know, it's like a draining experience, you know, at the same time. But you know, it's sort of, I guess you'd say when people give birth, they say I'm not gonna have another kid, but then they forget, you know, so they have another kid. So it's like you know, I'm getting the itch now where I've been prototyping, you know, game ideas and stuff, and kind of like, you know, preparing stuff for a future game. And as that gets more serious, then you know, I'm going to have to do the balance again of, you know, not feeling like I'm not neglecting Newgrounds, which I feel like with Castle Crashers I did a pretty good job at balancing it. Like the Alien Hominid period, I feel like maybe that, you know, was more, you know, whatever. But Castle Crashers, I just sort of, I kind of gave up life and just worked, you know, which it's harder now because I have a family now. So we'll see what happens.
All right, so tell me about BattleBlock Theater. This is the new Behemoth game. This is the follow-up to Castle Crashers.
Yeah, so BattleBlock, it has its roots in PDA games, which is like a mini game on Alien Hominid. And so it's not a sequel or anything, but sort of like the spiritual successor to that idea. And it's a multiplayer, I kind of say it's a party platformer. It's got the main story mode, which is like linear levels where you and your friends can run through and get from the start to the finish and collect your gems and special things and upgrade, you know, we'll buy different faces and stuff like that. But then it also has the arena modes, which are these competitive modes where you can compete with your friends. And there's like a lot of griefing in the game, and just like everything that we've been finding fun over the years, you know, is tried to be represented in this.
That's awesome. And you also use the Behemoth to spotlight some Newgrounds creators. You have, you know, audio, for example. Is that continuing in BattleBlock?
In BattleBlock, Stamper does these. He's the announcer, so you'll hear Stamper a lot. And then the music isn't as much from the audio portal because Dan had very specific music in mind. He had some people. So right now the music is not as represented in the audio portal as Castle Crashers was. But you know, we'll see how things go by the end of it. Also, in addition, we set up this gold egg project where we help support other developers. So the first game that we gave support to was Closure by Glail and Glail Gamer and Starover on Newgrounds. So they're both longtime Newgrounds users, and we sponsored the web version of Closure. So we helped them with support while they developed the console version of Closure, and that just came out like a week ago. We've been like running a little promo for it on Newgrounds. If you go there right now, the site skin on the front page is for Closure.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Hope you're having a great time at PAX.
Great, thanks.